Have you ever noticed that no matter how calm, de-stressed, how much work you do on yourself, there's certain people or situations that can just trigger you and pull you back into a spiral? It's because old unresolved traumas are coming back, and that's what's running the show. So what we're going to go over in this video is how to stop that from happening, how to change course. Similar to me on my journey, I was reacting from old wounds and not from a healed place. And obviously, you guys know reacting from old wounds is not going to be progressive. It's not going to bring peace-centered people that are like-minded to your growth journey into your life. It's going to bring more also like-minded, which is like triggered, inner wounded people. So I want you to think about that when it comes to not only just yourself, but who you're attracting in your life. So if you have a group of friends and you feel this group of friends is not beneficial to me because they're all reacting from trauma, they're all reacting from a triggered place, well, most likely you are also acting from that. So if you want to elevate those relationships, elevate the partner that you're with, elevate the friends that you're with, and you want to have more healthy connections, you just want a healthier life, right? Because your social connections, your social health has to do with a lot of your health. How do you elevate that? Elevate yourself first. Become a match for the people that you actually want to attract into your life. What would that look like? It means you yourself are now healed. You yourself are now coming from a place of response instead of reaction. You're going to see how easy it is once you master your emotions, once you start taking control of that, you're going to see the rest of your life kind of falls into place a lot easier than you thought it would. And things are just easier to process and manage, and just the situations and the people that you're bringing into your life are a lot more matched to what you have become. Okay, now why does trauma affect our relationships? Trauma affects our relationships by controlling or changing the perspective of how you see the world, how you view the world, how you view other people. Let's say you had not a good experience with dogs when you were younger. Maybe you had like a really bad traumatic experience where a dog bit you when you were little and nobody protected you and you got hurt. This caused a trauma. Now you're growing up and you're scared of dogs. You go on a walk, you see a dog, you're like, is this dog on a leash? Is this dog gonna bite me? You're scared to go to the park because there could potentially be dogs there. You're scared of going to the friend's or family's house that has a dog. This is how your trauma affects your day-to-day life. This is how you know there's a trauma still there. It's associated and it's affecting your daily activities or your daily regular routine. If there's just normal things in your routine or your day or your lifestyle and you are abstaining from those things, or it's changing the course of those. So that's an example with the dog, but it's the same thing with people. So usually the first people that hurt us in our lives happen in our childhood, and it's usually a family member. And that trauma stays with you unless you kind of work through that and you resolve it. This is exactly how relationships can reflect the trauma that we have. And that's also a good way to figure out what traumas that you're holding on to, because a lot of the traumas want to be healed and they want to come to the surface. When you have a problem with a partner or you have a problem come up with a friend, this is a really good opportunity to figure out and pinpoint what trauma do we actually have? What trauma do we need to work through? What wound is coming up? If, say, your partner hurts you, what are they really hurting? They're hurting the wounded inner child. And this is complicated. You want to be justified in how you feel. You want to be validated in how you feel. This is where the work comes in. This is where processing these emotions come in. It's a wounded inner child for a reason, because it needs to be healed. It needs to be worked through, these wounds. That's where journaling comes in. That's where coaching comes in. I've helped lots of people go through these wounds, process these wounds. Something as easy as forgiveness, learning how to forgive, learning how to move forward, move on. This process cannot be rushed, but it has to be started. The longer you wait, the more these wounds are going to show up in your relationships. It's not your true authentic self. It's not the highest version of you that's showing up. It's your wounded inner child. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to your partner. It's not fair to your friends, family. You don't know the potential of the relationships that you can have. So the relationship you have right now, you may be thinking, is this as good as it gets? Is this how it's just supposed to be? No, that's not it. life can get better. Things can get better. There's people out there that have done the work. There's people that you can become a match to. But to get there, there's an unsure, in the dark kind of gray period where you don't have that concrete sureness, where you don't have that for sure like guarantee. And that's the whole point of the trust, the faith, working on it, even though it may seem hard, because you're going to attract a different type of crowd. You're going to attract different types of people. It does get better. It does get better, and it can get better. So you just have to be willing to let that go. Let's say you're in a relationship right now, and the person that you're with, if you are concerned about it, if you're questioning it, if you're unsure, there's something there that needs to be uncovered. Whether it's moving on, leaving this partner, which is definitely a hard decision. I'm going to make another video about like cutting people off and why it's not always the best option. But for this video, I'm going to briefly touch on it. It doesn't have to be the only option. You can level up together. You can grow together. You can heal together. Obviously, both parties just need to be aware of what's happening and want to and be willing to heal and do the work, the inner work that was required. So now moving on to what you can do. So I want you to understand a few points. Our nervous systems store emotional triggers or emotional memories, okay? And a lot of these can come up when you see yourself overreacting to small things. Let's say there's a small thing and you have a big, huge reaction. That's kind of uncommon, or like it's surprising to the other person. And the person's like, where is this coming from? This is usually a sign that there's some unhealed wounds, wounded inner child coming up. It's a sign that there needs to be some work done, which is definitely a thing we can talk about in coaching. And I definitely talk about this with my clients. Identifying those areas, pinpointing where that shows up, having the ability to look yourself in the mirror and figure out where are these points coming up. Because if you want a better relationship with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, this is where the processing comes in. Identifying and processing. And you don't need other people to validate your experience. You can do that for yourself. Quick way to validate your experience is to just write a letter to yourself. Let's say something happened. Write an apology letter to yourself. Title it, I am so sorry. Dear my inner child, dear my younger self. You're going to talk about, I am so sorry that this happened to you. I am so sorry that this experience happened. This was not fair. This shouldn't have happened. That was horrible what happened. Validate all of your own feelings. Write that all down. Take the time to really get all the emotions out, get all the feelings out. Write those all out. This is 100% doable. You're capable of doing this. And obviously it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because you're going to have to dip back into those old scenarios. But if you want to improve your relationships, you want to take that power back and have control over your emotions. This is the emotional mastery, self-mastery. This is where the work comes in. And like I tell you guys all the time, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but you have to go through those uncomfortable stages to then see the results. And then after you do this, you're going to see you're also more able to express your needs, which is another sign that there needs to be some healing. There's those old wounds, is you have trouble expressing what you want because you may not even know how you want to be treated or what needs you have, what things make you feel loved, how you feel heard, how you feel seen, how you feel like you have a good relationship, what makes a good relationship to you, how do you feel socially fulfilled. This is how you discover your needs. This is how you discover more about yourself. And then in turn, you discover more about your partner or your friend or your family member, your mother, your father. This is how you figure that all out. So another point to journal about or ask yourself in these situations, these maybe a triggering situation or conversation, is what is my reaction protecting me from? Let's go down to the basic, simple example of the dog. Let's say you're hiding from the dog. You're protecting yourself from being bitten, from being hurt again, from being unprotected. So you're trying to overprotect yourself, okay? The same thing goes with relationships. Let's say you have trouble opening up. You have trouble being yourself, being vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable, however it may be. You may be protecting yourself because when you were vulnerable when you were little, or you were emotionally expressive, you were shut down, or you were betrayed. And now this stuck with you, and that wounded inner child is coming out, and that's who's reacting to the situation, not you. And the quickest way to figure this out is if your best friend asked you, I'm scared of relationships because an ex hurt me, cheated on me. Would you tell them to never open up again, never be vulnerable again, never try again, never fall in love again? No. You know deep down that's not what you would recommend. That's not the right thing. You know what the right thing is, and now we're just figuring out how to get there. So that's why we do the inner work, is to figure out what is the actual truth. There's a lie that you're telling yourself, and then there's the truth. What's your highest truth telling you? Not your wounded self, because there's going to be two different voices. What does the most healed form of you want? And how would they act? How would they respond? What would be their solutions? So if you guys would love to work with me, my link is in the description for coaching, and we can sign you up through there. There's also some digital products as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.